Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Health Talk. I am your host, Dr. Niru Prasad, with my background in pediatrics, emergency medicine, and urgent care, affiliated with Henry Ford Health System, St. Joe, Oakland, and Beaumont. The theme of our health talk is value of exercise in our general for our general well-being. And I have a guest speaker, Todd Weiss, and he's the owner of a gym club in Southfield area. He's going to highlight our viewers about what are the exercises and other workout that is being recommended, and he will give us some more informations about lifting weight, high and low impact physicals and all that. So good morning, Todd, and welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so before we get started, can you give your introduction to our viewers?
Yeah, I'm going to be 29 years old next week, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, sports and fitness has been the main focus of my life through my entire life.
Sure.
I played 2 years professionally baseball, growing up in 2018, 2019. And then when my career ended in baseball, I got into fitness. So I became certified as a personal trainer. And ever since then, I've been training clients. And like you said, now I own my own gym. And it's amazing, yeah.
So that's a good introduction, Todd. I'm happy that you own your own gym club, and can you elaborate? My next question will be, when I go to gym, we belong to the Lifetime Fitness. There are so many things available when you go to the third floor, but basically I like to just sit in the whirlpool and
The whirlpool, yeah.
which is the easy one. But I do, when I go to their third floor gym, I see people lifting weight, step back and forth. Could you comment on those lifting weight? Let us start from lifting weight. What does it do to the body, and how much can you be doing?
Yeah, so lifting weights in terms of longevity for our bodies is going to be the most important thing we can do.
Okay.
And then you're going to hear tons of different things, what's important for this, you should be doing that. But at the end of the day, all the research shows that lifting weights is the best thing for us. And when we turn 30 years old, around 30 years old, our bodies tend to start to lose muscle mass.
Right.
That's the age that we begin to lose the muscle mass that we have.
Right, yeah.
And if you're lifting weights, even through your 30s and on, not only can you stop that process of losing muscle, but you can also reverse it. So instead of losing muscle, you're going to start to maintain and even put on muscle into your later ages. And that becomes important because your quality of life is almost hand in hand with the things that you're physically able to do. So as you get older, you want to be able to play with your grandchildren. You want to be able to get up off the couch. You want to go play with your kids. And if you lack muscle mass, all that stuff becomes harder.
It becomes
harder because you're going to be weaker.
Yeah.
And it's just things that you're not able to do is because you lack having muscle. So that's why lifting weights
very important
is extremely important especially as we continue to age past our 30s.
Yeah. Because when you go over 70, I can say, you have loose muscles here in the...
Yeah, and I have several clients in their 60s and 70s who come to my gym 2 or 3 times a week, and they're in the best shape of their life because they continue to lift weights.
Yeah.
It's very important.
So when they go to your facility, when you start with the lifting weight, you start with the minimum weight, is 5 pounds or 10 pounds?
Yeah, we start at a weight that's comfortable because we don't want to do anything that can cause an injury.
Right. Yeah.
But the idea behind it is to get past your beginning weight. So let's say if you were to come in and I have you using 5-pound weights.
5 pounds.
So we don't want to stay at that weight for more than a couple of weeks.
No, then
we want to get you using 10-pound weights.
10 pounds. Right.
Right.
Good.
So the idea is to continue to get stronger.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter where you start, but you should continue to try to increase the weights by a little bit.
Yeah, so for our viewers to know, the weightlifting is a gradual process. You start with a minimum weight and then slowly and gradually increase. And the aim of that is, in the long run, to you do not lose the muscle.
Correct. Right.
So that's good. Now let us talk about this low impact and high impact exercises. I go on the treadmill and, and I try to do, those steps. I get tired very easily.
Yeah, so the treadmill walking is the best thing that you can do.
Treadmill walk. Just
Just
go on
walk.
the treadmill and
Something as simple as walking can give you the most health benefits.
walk. Okay.
So just continuing to move your body. Like as soon as we get stagnant, we start to lose the things that we use. So like you said, walking is amazing. And in terms of like high intensity, that would be like sprinting, like doing like burpees or any sort of activity that really will spike the heart rate. And in reality, doing that more than a couple times a week can have a negative impact because it becomes more stress on your body. It becomes harder to recover from. So doing stuff like you said, walking or low impact cardio.
Yeah, that is to begin with.
Yeah, it's safer and it's better to keep your heart rate down. Walk, do lower impact stuff. It's more sustainable. So I know a lot of people want to go to the gym and like burn calories or whatever and try to just get their heart rate up for an hour or whatever. It's not necessary.
It's not
necessary. Yeah.
Just stick to your basic, how much you can handle, right?
Yeah.
Because, you see it in the papers, you watch at the television how these athletes, they are doing vigorous exercises and they end up with cardiac issues.
Yeah, I mean, doing that higher impact stuff has a greater risk for injury.
Right, yeah. So who should be doing those high impact?
I mean, anyone can do them. I just wouldn't recommend doing them more than like twice a week.
Okay.
So, I mean, a lot of people like to go to the gym. They want to go on the stairs every day, whatever. That's fine. Cardio is great. It's great for your heart health. But the weights really should be the top priority.
Right.
There should be weights in everybody's fitness routine.
Right, yeah. So, in other words, watch your own body, right? Respect your body, how much you can handle, right?
Correct. Everybody knows their own body.
Yeah, right, yeah, because those high impact can be very, very dangerous. Then you fall down, you hit your head, and then you have other issues going
Correct.
on, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so what else we are going to talk about? The fat loss, we said. Do you want to focus on the nutrition before I go for a low impact or high? What are the nutrition I'm supposed to be taking? Should I have just a light snacks? Or
Yeah, so in terms of fat loss, it's going to be mostly your diet.
Diet,
Right.
okay.
So it's not going to be how many calories can I burn. That
Right, yeah.
It's not going to be can I go to the gym for an hour and burn X amount of calories. So your Apple Watch, that a lot of people wear, it might tell you that you burn 800 calories. And I hate
everybody wears
everybody
them.
has the watch. And I hate to say it, but those are widely inaccurate. So in terms of fat loss, the number one rule is that you have to be in a calorie deficit, meaning that you have to consume less calories than your body burns.
Okay.
So the amount of calories that you burn in a workout are far less than you would imagine. Maybe 5 to 10% of the calories that you burn in an entire day come from your 1 hour workout.
1 hour ago,
Yeah.
right.
So it's going to be calorie deficit, and there's ways to determine how many calories you should be eating. But I can get into that later. Calorie deficit, you want to keep your protein high.
Right.
Protein
I was
high.
going to ask you because I see everybody has those protein bars.
Yeah, the protein is very important. It should be, for guys, about 1 gram of protein per body weight. For girls, a little bit less, so maybe 3/4 of a gram of protein per pound of body. That's how
Okay.
much we should be having per day.
Okay, so most important thing for our viewers to know, you can have some protein bars and all those,
Yeah, of course.
but that is very important, better than having fat or carbohydrate.
For sure. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to the total amount of calories. That if
Calories.
somebody's looking to lose fat or lose weight, it just matters if you are under or over the
Right.
amount of calories that your body needs. It needs to be under. It
Right.
needs to be under.
So now other question is, can you give us some ideas about what drinks that we should be drinking? There are so many drinks, you go to the health clubs, you have so many drinks in line, high, low. What is the most significant drink you would advise?
I would advise electrolytes water.
Electrolytes
Electrolytes,
water,
yep. A
okay.
lot of us lack electrolytes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the sports drinks that you find are so high on sugar. So that's one thing that I look out for is sugar. Too much sugar, you don't want to spike your
You
blood
don't
levels.
want to
Yep.
spike, right? Yeah.
Electrolytes, water replenishes the body after you sweat. So something like that would be perfect.
So the electrolyte solutions, water should be taken before you start or after
Or
you're
during,
done?
during the workout, after
Okay,
the
you have
workout.
a sip of electrolytes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about lemonades? Are they good or no?
It depends. I mean, lemonade typically has a lot of sugar.
Right.
Same
it
with
does.
orange juice, same with apple juice.
Right.
A lot of
yeah.
the juices have high sugar content, but anything in moderation is okay. And
Yeah.
and I'm not here to tell anyone not to eat this or not to drink
Not
that,
to eat that.
but just to be more
But
mindful.
the most important thing is the electrolyte balanced drink.
Electrolytes are great. I use one called Element,
Mm-hmm.
LMNT, Element. I use that during and after all of my training sessions, just
Mm-hmm.
because when you sweat, your body loses certain nutrients. So you want to replenish those back in, and electrolytes is one of the best ways
It's
to do
very
it.
important, right? Okay, so that's good nutrition, and then what else are we supposed to do? I mean, from your experience, in the gym, what else would you advise? You have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't get enough protein. I think a lot of people are stagnant throughout the day. They might have jobs where they're at a desk.
Right, the desk job
Yeah.
for the computer.
Right. So I recommend getting up, walking around as much as you can. And it's so good for your mind too, your cognitive levels. If you're like feeling sad or depressed or just feeling weird, I guarantee if you go outside and walk for 20 minutes, tell me that you're feeling better after.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is very important
Oh, yeah.
because there are so many people, who are going through the anxiety, through the depression
Yeah.
phase, and
Something
when
as
they are
simple
working.
as a 20-minute walk can totally change how
Yeah.
you feel.
So it most important thing is just take a break, go out, walk for 20 minutes, and then come back on the computer.
Yeah, you'll feel totally recharged.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. And then your brain will start
Yeah.
start functioning. So from your experience when you were in the gym and all that, is there any interesting event you want to share with our viewers?
What's that?
I mean, you graduated from all those. Is there anything else you want to share with our viewers?
Yeah, I think, and I heard your last viewer talking about this as well. It's having a positive mindset.
Right, yeah.
So that goes a long way. And having that gym and having the positive mindset, they go hand in hand. So going to the gym and telling yourself, that you can lift a certain amount of weight or that you can run a mile.
Right,
It's very important that you tell yourself that you can do these things
yeah,
because
right.
your body follows suit.
Sure.
So
yeah.
anytime that I go into a workout, I'm telling myself how it's going to go before I even start it. And my
Right.
body typically follows my
you,
mindset.
Yeah. So basically, what it is, the signals goes from the neurons, from the brainstem, they go to your cortex.
Yeah,
Okay, so
the
that's
mind-
a positive mind, and then when you have those when you have those healthy neurons going there, then they supersede the one that is sitting there in the area of hypothalamus, the amygdala, because they store some negative things and they supersede. So that is very important to have a brain, mind, body syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I was playing baseball up until about 2020.
Okay.
And when my sort of career ended, I'm a goal-driven person. So
Oh,
I
okay.
need something to work towards.
Right.
So when
yeah.
I was no longer playing baseball, I was looking around for new things that would challenge me and that I could work towards. And I found something called an Ironman. Have you heard of an
Oh,
Ironman?
Ironman. I have vaguely heard, but I
So
don't know.
it's a
Tell us the
triathlon.
detail.
It's a
of
triathlon. You swim, you bike, and you run.
Ironman.
And I had a background in none of that.
Okay.
No background. But
Ironman. Okay.
Ironman, yeah. So I decided to sign up for an Ironman with no background in swimming, biking, or running.
Okay.
And like I said, it's all my mindset. So
Oh,
I trained my mind and I began training, and that's currently what I'm doing right now.
okay. Ironman. Yeah. So basically, you motivated yourself. Whatever motivation you have, in the brain, it's mostly like I did a lot of work about this, basically because my background in pediatrics, emergency medicine, I see all those kids, soccer injury, football injury. I do a physical and everything is as fine. And during the night time in an emergency room, somebody shows up with a big head injury, concussion. So basically the whole idea is, you never know how the brain mind works. But if you have one major tragedy that takes care of your whole whole life span, right? So the most important thing is have a healthy brain up there. I am going to do it. This is my passion. This is my desire. And then my desire here, I convert it to the motivation. Okay, how am I going to motivate myself? A good trainer or something. I have to do all those things like you did for your motivation, Ironman. And then the third step is you act accordingly. Everybody doesn't become a doctor, engineers, or something, lawyer. But most important thing is if you have a healthy mind, a passion, a good motivation, then
Absolutely.
you can be whatever you want.
Absolutely.
So this is one thing, I when I give a lecture about in some marathon and all those, about, I say that. And that's what you did. That's how you succeeded to be Iron Man.
Yeah, so the mind is a very powerful place, and I try to encourage that in all of my clients.
Yeah, mind.
We're all capable of doing far more than what we.
Than what we
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
right? But most important thing is have your aim and motivate and don't.
Yeah, I went into my first Ironman with no experience.
Okay.
I ended up doing 4 more races,
Really?
and I'm going to compete in the World Championships at the end of this year.
Oh my God.
So I originally had no experience, and a year and a half later, like I said, anyone is capable of anything.
So you're going to compete in the World Championship?
I'm going to Marbella, Spain in
Oh my God, we will see you on the
in November.
television. Yeah, let
so-
us remind me because
Absolutely.
I keep forgetting when you are going to be. Then
Yeah.
we cannot go to Spain, but definitely we will watch you.
No, I'm very fortunate that I get to travel the world and compete in competitions.
Oh yeah,
It's very
yeah,
cool.
you might be on the television as the champion.
We never know. Like I said, anything's possible.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. So that is very good, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So can you tell us more about anything else, about what else we can share
Yeah.
with you? Can you tell us more about your business?
Yeah, and we went over a lot today, and I don't want it to be too complicated. If to really simplify it, the things that we all should be doing should be walking as much as we can, lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week,
Right,
and then anything else, if you want to do a little bit of cardio, whatever you enjoy
cardio.
is important.
Right.
Finding a routine that gets you to do it is the most important one.
Yeah, and the most important thing is how often you want. You're not rushed to go every day to
It doesn't
do
have to be every day, but it
Right,
should be a
yeah.
couple times a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, my gym is in Southfield, and I'm open 6 days a week.
Oh, okay.
And it's a great gym. A lot of people come in. We lift weights and we get them stronger. Their mindset changes.
Yeah,
It's
mine
it's
is
been
changes.
so
Yeah.
my biggest thing is just helping people, and I love helping people.
Right,
So
yeah.
I've lived this lifestyle, and now I try to spread it to others.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I love
Helping people
yeah.
is what, I tell my children, I tell my grandchildren, help people. Help them in whichever way,
Yeah. So
whichever way you can. And sometimes I have grandkids, living with us. One of them is a junior at Bloomfield High School. Another one graduated in Kelly Business School. So I tell them, I said, look, if you help your grandma, then God will help you to get your summa cum laude.
that's absolutely correct.
So, I'm not so good with, computering because we never had that experience when we were growing.
Right.
We came here as a doctor, both of us, me and my husband.
Yeah.
But these kids, they know so much.
It's crazy the technology now.
Technology
it's,
has improved so much, So
Right.
I
I
said,
I tell everyone to put down the phone and go for a walk.
yeah,
you know?
go for a walk.
Yeah.
And this is what we do to these kids. When you are eating dinner, shut off your iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say whatever. Yeah. So technology has improved so much. You go to those restaurants and you see this parent, they bring a toddler. They are strapped in the seat, but they all have
I know. It's crazy.
they all have a computer, They have that screen,
So much
they are
screen
watching.
time.
So this is another question. How can people track their diet?
Yeah, there's different ways to track their diet. Some of the harder ways, hiring a nutrition.
Yeah, right.
I'm also certified as a nutritionist, so I help several of my clients with their meal plans.
Okay.
No, but looking at the labels on the ingredients on the food, you can get a scale. You can see how much protein you're eating.
You have. Yeah.
But I would say reach out to somebody like a nutritionist,
Right,
ask
yeah.
them for advice, or just check on YouTube and say what's the easiest way
Yeah.
for me to track my food.
Sure.
It's not as hard as people may
No,
seem.
This Google is such a help, and
Yeah.
now we have that other one, chitjot.com. So all these things, they give us all the information.
Everything is available for us to get.
Google, right. So you find out when you go to the store what food is good, what is the calorie value, and all that, whether you can take it or not.
Yeah, and my diet's very simple. I eat eggs, I eat meat, I eat
Okay.
yogurt, and I eat a lot of fruit. It doesn't have to be crazy. The simple food groups are the best ones.
Right, yeah. So egg is good, right?
Yeah.
Egg is a good source.
Eggs are amazing.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of red meat. I know there's
Oh, okay.
certain views on
But
that.
you can metabolize them, right?
Yeah.
Body can handle that.
Body can handle it.
Why not? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anyway, then I'd like to thank you, Todd, for coming to my show today. I'd like to thank our viewers for watching me this show with Todd Weiss, who is the owner of Gym Club located in the Southfield area. He gave us a lot of information about the exercises, weightlifting, body mass index, and nutrition. And until I see you again, I want to have a safe and a wonderful summer, and also a trip to Spain.
Yeah.
We will be looking
For
forward
sure. Thank
to
you
it.
for having me today.
Sure, and I'd like to thank our producer and our camera people for helping me produce these wonderful videos. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.